Do you have trouble upholding your New Year's resolutions? Do you typically break down or burn out after the first few months or even the first few weeks sometimes? The truth is that real change starts with the tiniest, most consistent habits, the ones that shape your life quietly. And what better way to be consistent than to start right now before the new year begins? I'm going to help you build that consistency from this moment on so that you'll also be able to keep maintaining it throughout the new year. But before we get into that, I would like to thank you for clicking on this video. I am Kay and welcome to Kaizen, a space where we can come together to remember our crowns, to reclaim our thrones, and to connect with our higher selves. This is the place where we honor and step into our power, treating ourselves like the queens and kings that we truly are. So if this resonates with you, please feel free to subscribe and join our growing royal community. Welcome to the fourth video of our winter arc transformation series by yours truly. We're now moving on to the next steps within our transformation series. So if you missed the first 3 videos, then I have them linked in the description, so you can go there, check it out right now. And I would recommend you to watch the videos chronologically, winter arc 1, 2, 3, and 4, but you can do whatever resonates with you most. So in that case, I'll also have the playlist linked at the end of this video again, in case you decide to check it out afterwards. And now without further ado, let's get into the video. So apparently it's a thing for us to overwhelm ourselves with these big resolutions in January. These big goals that we expect to bring about immediate change. And then when we don't see those changes that we had hoped for, because we are pretty much used to instant gratification at this point. So in our head, change needs to happen immediately. We start to think, what's the point? Why am I even doing this? It doesn't even change anything. It doesn't even bring me anything. It's not doing anything. But true transformation begins with consistency. It's actually a little bit ridiculous of us to treat the New Year's like a magic doorway to map out this life that we want and be like, okay, I don't have to do anything until then. And the moment the new year starts, we expect those changes to be there already, to have happened already, even though we didn't do anything. But I've already told you that change does not actually happen on a specific date in the calendar. It happens through you, within you, in the little decisions that you make, the quiet moments that you take for yourself. The moments when you do things for yourself, even when no one's watching, not for the world to look at you and approve of you or validate you, for yourself. That's when true transformation really happens. And as James Clear said, you do not rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. So if you ever felt like your resolutions don't work, it's not because you are not capable or lazy or not motivated enough. It's because resolutions only focus on the goal. What needs to be changed? What is the goal? Where do we need to get to? But not how do we get to it, not the system of it. And that's why. There was also one of the past years when I've actually wrote out these resolutions in a planner. I actually created my own bullet journal because I really love doing that and I just really have fun doing that. I like the feeling of writing on paper quite much. And I wrote as one of the resolutions that I would like to improve my handwriting and also get to a specific level in my Japanese skills and my Korean skills. And I'm telling you that this was probably these are some of the goals that I've put in previous years before already as a resolution or as New Year's goal, basically. And well, if you don't really practice Japanese, or if you don't actually practice handwriting in a way that you would like it to look like, be like, okay, I want my handwriting to look pretty, so I'm going to practice handwriting specifically. Of course, I wrote into my bullet journal almost every day, because I actually made a bullet journal. So it's a physical journal where I actually needed to write into. But did I intentionally practice handwriting so that I was satisfied with the way I was writing? Looking at it and be like, yeah, it got a lot prettier, I really improved my handwriting. Well, I didn't really do that, of course. And that was also not the focus, because the focus was just like, oh yeah, everyone makes New Year's resolutions and has these New Year's goal, and it's kind of a pretty page to look at on your bullet, like in your bullet journal as well. So I'm just going to like write in what I'd like to do this year, what I'd like to achieve this year. But am I going to work towards it? That was kind of not ever the question, and I never looked at that page thinking, so how do I put these things into action? How do I actually achieve these goals? Like, I've never actually ever done that, ever. Also because perhaps the resolutions or the goals just seemed too big for me, and the gap between what I wanted or where I wanted to get to and where I am now seemed still too big for me, so I couldn't really bridge that gap, which is also one of the reasons why New Year's resolutions kind of don't really work out sometimes, or fail even. Now, for better understanding, I would like you to think of your habits as seeds that you plant and that you water or nurture consistently until it grows into something lasting, which can only happen if you do actually water it consistently. So what we need here is actually more or less repetition. You repeat an action every day, which is, for example, watering this seed of yours, the seed that you have planted, watering it every day, little by little, until it starts to grow. And then keep watering it until it grows stronger, right? So this is what repetition comes in and is good for. And in neuroscience, there's actually a study that backs this up, that our brain loves repetition. It loves the familiar, and it does not love novelty too much. So each time we choose to repeat an action, we make it easier for the brain to automatically choose that action again at a later point in time. This is also the reason why, if you would try to do so and brush your teeth with your non-dominant hand for even 2 weeks, it will feel extremely awkward and you would still not be used to it. So if after 2 weeks you were given the opportunity and the chance to change back to your dominant hand, you would definitely do so without a second thought. But if you were to do this action, brushing your teeth with your non-dominant hand, for over a month and maybe longer, it might be something that is a little bit more familiar to you, and you would be like, well, actually, I don't need to change back to my dominant hand because I feel like I'm used to it now. And this exact same principle goes for any positive shift. What you need in the end is repetition, as in opposed to massive effort put into something. Opt for gentle repetition instead. So this also goes for the mindset of new year, new me, which, I mean, you sort of renew yourself every day, little by little anyways. So, and every single version of you already exists actually. So actually it is still the same you in a way, but growing slowly and steadily. And I already told you that new year, new me doesn't work anyway, since there is no such thing as a new you in that sense of term. Like I mentioned just now, every single version of you already exists. And all you need to do is remember and tune into that version of you that feels the most resonant with you in this moment right now. And then embody that version for this chapter of your life. Now I would like to give you some methods and rituals that could help you build that consistency from this moment on, like I promised. But also remember that mostly this is about showing up for yourself and you choosing yourself, and no one can do that for you except for you. So the first one is the keystone habit ritual. This is about you finding that one small keystone habit basically that makes it easy for you to attach more good habits right after. So for example, for me, it's making my morning tea, brewing my morning tea. And as long as I have that, I'll definitely be able to sip a little bit of tea and then meditate. And then after I meditate, I automatically journal first. And yeah, that's kind of like, it can be as simple as that. For a lot of people, it's just lighting the candle. Like lighting a candle in the morning, and the peace and the calm that it brings with it is going to help you pull along all of the other good habits that you intend to actually do, if you know what I mean. The second one is the habit stacking method, which is inspired by James Clear and his book Atomic Habits. And it's kind of similar, but in this case, you actually intentionally have habits that you stack upon each other. So you find habits that you already are actually doing, and you attach a new habit to it. Like after I make my morning tea, I'm going to take 3 deep breaths. Or after I close my laptop at night, I'm going to write 1 gratitude sentence. And this is a way where you actually pair something that is already familiar with something that is new. And in your brain, they will be linked up more easily and more automatically than if you weren't doing any of those things and just started to do basically all of them at the same time. It will make it harder for your brain because everything is new and it doesn't really like novelty. So it will be more, it will protest more. And the third one is the 1% shift rule, which is based on a Japanese philosophy called Kaizen philosophy. And in this one, you ask yourself, what is the 1% improvement that I can make today? Because in the end, the 1% compounds over a year. And if you do 1% each day, just 1% today, 1% tomorrow, 1% the day after, in a month, you already have 30%. And you might not see the shift like right now immediately because it's just 1% and you just like spit ridiculous, right? But it does compound over the year and can add to the transformation that you are trying to make by the end of this year, for example, if you start now. And the Kaizen philosophy is about the art of continuous and gentle improvements. So if you are interested in the Kaizen philosophy or hearing more about it, you can definitely comment that down below. I'll make sure to make a video about it if you'd like me to. Number 4 is staying connected and accountable. So this one is something you can do with your friends, for example. So you come and sit together and hold yourself accountable for each other's habits that you are trying to implement new. And of course, we're going to keep this minimal because this is going to be overwhelming if there are way too many. So like 1 to 2 habits should be enough, that you check in with one another and everything, like, hey, have you done this? Because you said you wanted to do this. Just wanted to remind you. Or like you could also kind of support and motivate each other in that way. as it's especially best, of course, to do with someone who is like-minded, someone who also has this goal of implementing these new habits, of transforming themselves, and like shifting, changing. If they are an enthusiast about that, that's always like the perfect friend to grab and do this with. A lot of people also do this with their friends as like gym buddies. So the one thing that they hold each other accountable for is going to the gym and working out. So they will actually like kind of make a friend date to go to the gym together. It's almost like an appointment then, so you hold yourselves accountable for each other, and you also are motivated because you're not going there all by yourself. Because sometimes I know that like with some people they kind of need that like motivation because they don't want to go to the gym by themselves, because that just feels like it's a little bit boring, and it's also not like it's easy on your body at first when you just start. So yeah, it's like it's kind of nice to have a friend to do this with, and also you know, stay accountable for one another, and then support each other and motivate each other. The fifth one is to use your circadian rhythm as a productivity guide. So your circadian rhythm is something that is your inner clock, your inner bodily clock, and it is something that is very similar to a woman and her menstrual cycle, except this is for one day. So everyone has this, and like even us women, yes, even though we already have the menstrual cycle to lean on in the sense of term, but it does basically say that the habits that fit best in the morning are grounding routines, grounding rituals, like journaling and meditating, and hydration. It's like you just woke up and you need to ground into the day first. So these are like some of the grounding rituals that you can focus on in the mornings. And of course, the midday is the high of this circadian rhythm or cycle. So it's the best for productivity, deep work, focus. And as we already know, the evenings are best for unwinding. So gentle stretches, gratitude practice, and reflection, of course. And as I've already mentioned, this does hold true for women in the menstrual cycle as well. We all know that in the follicular, we just get out of our menstrual, so we need things that are a bit more grounding, not too intense. But then when we move into our ovulation, which is our high, we can actually do more. We can actually work out more intensely. This is where we do our deep work, our productivity stuffs, our meetings, our like anything that is a little bit more wow, kind of like that. This can also be done by the end of the follicular phase already, because that's like you can start doing so already, because in the end, once you move into your luteal phase, you are going to have to stay a little bit more, preserve your energy a little bit more, because you are more low energy by that time. And our workouts should be less intense, because our muscles definitely feel it a lot more easily by that time. If we don't already work out consistently, little by little, that's going to strain your muscles more, and your muscles need more time to recover during the luteal phase than they did during the ovulation phase. And then of course during the menstrual phase, you should definitely rest and do like really, really gentle stretches. Maybe like if you really want to work out, walk, like really just gentle walks. Not like don't go out sprinting and running. Stuff like that. The sixth one is called the 2-minute method. So anything that you do, your habit, whatever it is, you show up for it for 2 minutes at the least. And sometimes if you decide so, also at the most. So it will be something that is completely easy to do. You sit down, meditate for 2 minutes. You want to learn music production? Open your Logic Pro or your GarageBand or whatever system you're using for that, and you just look through it for 2 minutes. How does this work? How do I put the drums in or whatever, and like how can I put the piano, and how do I do this and that and whatever. It's like for 2 minutes. Promise yourself to do it at least for 2 minutes. And if you want to continue after that, no one is going to stop you. Do it. At least you're doing it, right? And that's actually pretty cool. You're showing up for it. And I would recommend for the first like week, maybe 2, to really just do it for 2 minutes, to really just show up for yourself first. And once you get into the rhythm a little bit more, you can actually go on for longer, and then you won't get too overwhelmed by the fact that you've been sitting there for like an hour now. That's kind of like, oh wow, I didn't actually want to do that, and that's just the second day or something like that. Just do little by little. Watch tutorials like how do I do this, how do I do that, and leave it at that first. This method can also be intertwined with something that BJ Fogg researched and stood for, and one of his quotes actually say that people change best by feeling good, not by feeling bad. So there's no beating yourself up and forcing yourself to do something, because that's not going to make you feel good. And this is also the reason why it makes sense to set your goals as small as possible, to do something for only 2 minutes, to do something for only 1 minute. However, your brain will be least likely to resist this new habit that you're trying to build right now. Like one deep breath after waking up, and it's like mindfulness check, or one push-up before I take a shower, workout for today, check. Or I'll write one sentence into my journal today, journaling, check. Because apparently the smaller the habit, the less resistance your brain feels, and thus the less likely it will activate that avoidance mechanism that it is very likely to do with bigger goals. So the trick here is to, well, trick your brain obviously, and to just build that consistency first and show up for yourself consistently enough for your brain to think, to feel familiar with the thing that you're trying to build new, the new habit that you're trying to build. And as we said, the best thing is to try to lessen the resistance as much as possible, which is what the 7th one is about. The 7th method, the 7th ritual, is to limit resistance, or in other words, to make it as easy as possible for yourself by doing the most beforehand already. So for example, if you want to go to the gym tomorrow morning, pack your gym bag in the night before already, your shoes, everything with it already, your towel, you have everything in there already. The only thing you need to do is grab and go after you change your clothes or whatever. So also maybe put out those clothes that you're going to wear. They're already there, so all you need to do is put them on. I don't need to look, what clothes should I wear? I can just put them on, and I can just grab my bag and I can just go. So very smooth, almost no resistance at all. There's also something that I like to do is actually to put water into the water kettle the night before already. So when I wake up, I can just push the button and let it boil while I go and brush my teeth. And then I come back and can immediately make my tea. Less resistance, more smooth. Or I also like to put kind of clean a little bit on my desk and put my journal and the one pen, the pen that I write with usually, right in the center of my desk. And that is actually a cue for me to be like, well, it's right here. I can just open my journal and write immediately. I don't have to still be like, oh, I don't have space to write. There's all these things on my table and blah, blah, blah. I don't have an excuse anymore. And that's actually what we're trying to do here. We are trying to limit the resistance so that we don't make excuses for ourselves, because there is barely any excuse that we can make at this point. Now, the 8th one is emotion over motivation. As I've already mentioned, BJ Fogg said that people change by feeling good, not by feeling bad. He is a behavioral scientist, and through his studies he has uncovered that our motivation isn't actually stable enough for us to do something only based on motivation, because it fluctuates and it can also easily fade thus. And apparently what he found is that our emotions have a lot more of a lasting and powerful effect on whether we are likely or less likely to do something again. Because apparently when we feel good about a new behavior, our brain releases dopamine. And this is the message that is being sent, that yes, this is very good, this is amazing, feels good, do it again, because I like it. So it's, like I said, never about beating yourself up or forcing yourself into doing something. So even if you miss one day or two, don't beat yourself up about it. Just get up as quickly as possible and just choose to do that action again. And what BJ Fogg actually recommends people to do is actually to say, after we finished a task, completed a task, that we can just go, I'm awesome, to ourselves. Or just do like this little victory dance, like, yes, this is amazing, I feel so good about this, like, yes, I did this, very good, well done, I'm so awesome, I'm so cool, something like that. In this way we directly contribute to this message that is being sent to remember, do it again, this is good, I like it. Because we consciously and directly add to the positivity that is being felt in that moment. Or maybe we consciously create it even. The 9th and last one is the seasonal energy alignment. In other words, winter is the perfect time for slower habits, like rest and warmth, cozying up, reflection, and focusing on nourishment that feels good within your body. So like I said, gentle renewing practices like slow, gentle stretches or mindful morning stretches, and setting up your cozy corner for journaling, for your tea, or for prayer. Something like a digital sunset vibe, which is 1 hour before and after, like before bed and after wake up. No screens, no digital, no nothing digital at all. And something like decluttering a small space every Sunday or something like that. And the point here is to be in flow and in rhythm of this, with this season of winter, and this rhythm can build the momentum for the next seasons to come. As I've mentioned already in the shadow work video, the quote by Carl Jung that says that until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. It obviously goes the same for your habits. Every choice you make and every habit you choose to perform with every single day, you send a message to your subconscious, to your inner world, which is so rich and connected to the universe out there. Those signals that are being sent are going to be able to tell what aligns with you, what aligns with your current habits, the way you treat yourself currently, the way you talk to yourself currently, what you deserve by you showing it to yourself. whether you show up for yourself or whether you do things to please other people, everything that is on that same frequency will show up in your outer world for you. This is what the universe thinks you deserve because this is what you think you deserve. So keep that in mind. And once again, as we start rebuilding from within, I would like to remind you that consistency is about you choosing yourself, choosing to do it again and again, showing up for yourself, even if you miss a day or two. It's starting to start in this moment. Start now. There is no perfect moment. Do not wait for the perfect moment, the perfect mood, the perfect setting. That does not exist. Do not wait for it. I've said this several times already. There is no perfect, guys. Now let me give you a few journal prompts on your way for those who like to work with journal prompts. Number 1 is, what one small habit feels like it could truly change how I feel, not just how I look or perform. The second one is, what rhythms do I want my days to move to this winter? What rhythms do I want to set for myself specifically this winter? And you know exactly, I'm not telling you to rebuild your life all at once because I know that that is not something that can happen. No magic doorway, no, oh, it's new year, everything changed now, because I can just magic my way into it without changing my mindset, without working on me. No, that's not what this is about. It's also not about those big goals. They're not going to make your year, whether you achieve them or not. It's just that one small steady habit repeated again and again, that is going to make a change. Think of the butterfly effect, for example. Although the model is a weather model, it was discovered that one small change at the beginning of a weather condition can actually change the outcome of it weeks after. And that's exactly the same for your tiny habit. It's just 1%. It's just a little tiny habit, but it can compound and it can change the momentum of the next year if you start now. And ultimately, every small act of care, every moment of mindfulness, and every time you choose yourself and to return to yourself, that is already the proof that you are transforming at this very moment. And it's just like I told you, it's like the seed that is being planted. It doesn't really feel the need to rush or hurry to like grow. It's just going to trust in the process, going through all that weathering and someday standing there blooming, proud and strong, just like you will. So trust in your own process, trust in your own journey. Now tell me in the comments, what's one small daily habit that you would like to build over this winter? I really love to hear that, so we can connect and share. And yeah, I love to hear your stories, so leave a comment, guys. Also, if this resonated, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, and hit the notification button to stay tuned for the rest of this series, of course, as well as future videos. And also feel free to share this video with your partner, your family, anyone you feel like could benefit from hearing this. And by the way, if you would like to support me a little bit more, you can buy me a matcha or a coffee. My Ko-fi link is in the description below. And of course, every form of support is deeply felt and appreciated over here, so thank you very much. You can also find my social media accounts linked in the description below, so I'll see you there. Let's keep rising and crowning ourselves together. I'm sending you guys so much love, and see you in my next video. Bye. Oh, hold up, you probably already know this. I've got the playlist linked here, just like I promised, and you can feel free to check it out, or you might want to check out this video. But if you haven't watched the rest of this series, I do recommend to check out the playlist right now.